Maybe?
Humans? Perhaps?
Drum roll, please.
We're checking on this now.
Did it do the thing?
There's an ad now.
There's an ad. Nostradamus, 5x5. Thanks,
we know
Nostra.
who has YouTube Premium.
I have YouTube Premium. I got it when it was like $10 a month. I don't know what it's up to now.
Like 75.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really high.
That's terrible.
I think there's tiers.
My wife is, so we have we have a TV in the living room, which rarely gets used for my reasons. Although I was 2 days ago blasting metal from the TV in my living room.
Sweet.
And it's just has your standard run-of-the-mill YouTube account on it. And I'm like, why are there ads on everything? This is the worst.
This is how us peasants view the world.
Well, I got into YouTube Premium like half a decade ago.
Right.
So it was $10 and it stayed $10. And so no ads, which is super cool. Good morning, everybody. It is the 14th of May, 2025. I'm Bear from the internet. It is White Girl Wednesday. You are?
The white girl.
The white girl.
I'm Lissa from Not the Internet.
From Not the Internet. Yeah, you're from the real world.
I'm from the real world most of the time.
Are you old enough to remember Real World on MTV?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. It was right when MTV shifted from music television to masturbation television. And
we didn't really do TV when I was little.
you weren't missing anything.
I was outside.
Yeah, that's a good place for
Until I
littles
was
to
like
be.
14.
Yeah, as far away from the rectangles as possible.
Yep.
We're doing a live stream. What are you doing?
I'm coming to get one of my snacks.
You coming to get one of your snacks? Okay.
Seems valid.
Hold on. Are you a white girl?
Mm.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
All right, it's allowable then. Let's see. We've got a written brief for you here. We also have some stuff from RT. So we'll just start here. France can't, this is the headline. France can't give Ukraine any more arms. Macron. Arms like weapons. Not, yeah, coke fiend. Not like spiders or starfish. Okay, dude, go get some yonder. France has reached the limits of its military support for Ukraine. French President Emmanuel Macron has said, dude, like 4 minutes ago, they were like, don't worry, Zelensky, anything you need, we got you. And, you know, if the U.S. is going to pull out and not support Ukraine, then Europe will have to take over. That was like 73 seconds ago. And now, and remember, Macron just happened to have been potentially doing cocaine on a train with Keir Starmer and Merz from Germany after having just met with Zelensky. Remember? Allegedly. A little parting gift. Yeah. It was just a napkin, Bear. That wasn't a spoon. It was a needle. Why do they have a needle? What's up with that? No, it's that. Don't you know it's a coffee stirrer? Listen, let's just say it was a coffee stirrer and a napkin. Those dudes were geeked out of their mind, and their body language was very telling. Okay, so like 47 seconds ago, the entire European Union was like, don't worry, Zelensky, we got you if the United States won't pour any more money and weapons and people into this conflict. And then today, the headline, France can't give Ukraine any more arms. Not like monkey arms or spider arms, like weapons. In a televised interview on TF1 on Tuesday, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
French MTV, maybe?
I still don't watch TV.
I definitely don't watch French television.
I don't speak French.
Well, I mean, neither do I. S'il vous plaît. But I can only imagine. Yeah, there's one fly who has a death wish here. I can only imagine French television is even worse than American television.
Well, the accent.
Listen, let's admit our biases. I have something against the French. Their entire language.
Really?
Yes, really. First of all, great surplus weapons, never fired, only dropped once, right? Second, their entire language just sounds really lazy.
It also sounds really entitled.
Yes, entitled, lazy.
I think it's just the people that televise though, because I've met actual French people,
Right.
and they don't sound like that in real life.
Isn't their flag just white? Iron Wolf. That's awesome. All right. In a televised interview, TF1 on Tuesday, Macron defended his administration's handling of the Ukraine conflict, saying the French have done the maximum we could to help Kyiv. All right. Given that the country's military was not set up to conduct a protracted high-intensity land war. Well, that's quite an admission right there, because we know since Trump 1.0 that Europe hasn't been paying their fair share when it comes to NATO. And so now they admit, hey, we're not set up. Our military isn't set up to conduct a protracted high-intensity land war. What's your military set up to do then? What else are you guys doing with your military? DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion stuff. What's up, Terry? Good morning.
Hi, Terry.
Morning. We invite you over, but it's White Girl Wednesday.
You're not a white girl.
And you're not a white girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's best.
That. Tomorrow will be Tattooed Thursday, and then Terry can come hang out or whatever.
Not tall Chinese guy?
Tall Chinese guy?
Tall Chinese
You're going to make
guy,
me
Terry?
look it up again. All right. Hold on. I got to do this.
Brain rot time.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Barry's not a white girl. He's just here because it's his channel. I'm the representing white girl. And we'll get Roarin later.
Roarin?
Roarin. Just kidding. We just love you, and you're a white girl.
All right. So
way to represent. No. I'm just not alone. Thank you. Yeah.
With Ben, this guy is so funny. Comedian Ben Bankus. It's the best.
Not real. A voiceover, but worth looking up.
I think it's real. I mean, it's on the internet, therefore it must be real.
Yeah.
Macron said, shifting back to France, we gave away everything we had, Macron said, but we can't give away what we don't have, and we can't strip ourselves of what is necessary for our own security. So you didn't give away everything you have. You gave away everything you wanted to give away. He noted that France's approach, coordinated with those of the Western donors, aims to avoid direct confrontation with the nuclear-armed power. France has committed more than $4.1 billion in military assistance to Ukraine since the escalation of the conflict in February 2022. Now, hear me out here. There's these little fiefdoms of what used to be kingdoms in Europe that we, for some reason, take seriously on the world stage in 2025, when this dude, this gay reptilian overlord, Macron, is literally married to a dude. His wife, Bridget, is a dude. Her Adam's apple is bigger than mine. Okay, she has more chest hair than I do, and that's saying something, allegedly. These people haven't been geopolitically relevant since World War I. Just so we're all on the same page here. And their country is about the size of the state of Connecticut. and they have no money, and they're filled with diversity, equity, and inclusion. They don't have a military that's built for land warfare, but for some reason, we care what this moron has to say. And Keir Starmer in the UK and Merz in Germany. Germany's Europe's largest economy. Okay, equivalent to what? About 1/10 the state of Texas. Why do we care? Like, what? That's my question. Why do I, as an American, care what the Europeans think about anything? To say nothing of the mass Islamic migration that's taken place, to where their demographics have been undermined for the last decade and are going to continue to be undermined for centuries going forward. What do you care about Europe?
No, but I think it's an interesting thought pattern to actually answer the question you just asked. Like, do we care? Because we're talking about it. So do we care?
Yeah.
Or like, is there better stuff to do?
Well, that's like,
because this is sport at this point. Like, this is entertainment
Yes.
for us. It doesn't
Yes.
affect me. It won't affect me tomorrow. It won't affect me next week. Occasionally, wars spin up enough that they affect me, mostly because it's an economic indicator and it bounces stuff here, usually annoyingly.
yeah, usually annoyingly.
You're like, oh no, eggs are $6 a dozen again. Better
Good-
take some treats to my chickens.
Good thing I have 400 chickens.
Yes.
This is wonderful.
You have an
Yeah. Perhaps
uncomfortable number of
perhaps
chickens.
we should plant even more acreage of
Right.
food.
Yep.
Right.
But we're also really lucky in that sense of like, we've had the foresight to do the strategic relocation and to spin up that infrastructure and the time to put into 400 chickens. Not you, mostly Hami,
Yeah.
but
That has been a long-term campaign for
Yeah.
her, having that many chickens,
Yeah.
right?
I respect it.
Yeah. Well, and what's amazing is that campaign has been mostly fueled by neglect.
Mhm.
It's like, we're just gonna,
Chickens are just dinosaurs. Leave them alone.
yeah, they're really self-sufficient.
Mhm.
You see on social sometimes these people that have like these really bougie chicken coops and like even like
Mhm.
house chickens with diapers on. Like,
Mhm.
what are you doing? That
Nope.
thing is all the way a wild animal. It will just take care of itself. So yeah, like, I guess it is sport, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
What I care about is illustrating the lack of let your yes be yes
Yes.
from these gay reptilians, because that's what they are. I mean, look, that guy's either a reptile or a robot, one or the other. Look at this guy. Look at that guy.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah, baby.
Will not take over the world.
Reptiles will not take over the world.
Neither will
Oh,
I know. I
robots.
think the reptiles are building the robots that are going to take over the world. You haven't fully viewed Terminator 2 yet,
This is why we're training you.
which is a documentary. Terminator 2 is a documentary.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, we watched half of that.
So France doesn't even have a land warfare military. Just, listen, sounds something like the 52nd state to me. Canada, 51st. And the
Right.
Canadians get bent out of shape about that. They're like, we're not the 51st state. We're a sovereign nation.
Mhm.
Do you have a dead queen on your coinage? Just curious. I know a lot of like really awesome Canadians.
Mhm.
We have a bunch of really awesome Canadians that watch the show. And I'm not saying that the United States isn't a dumpster fire right now, but I am saying we're the best looking dumpster fire on the planet. Just throwing that out there. So
We're like a little dumpster garden.
it's biochar.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
biochar.
we're making biochar.
Oh, by the way, I need to take a quick poll of the chat because there's rumor of interest from a Caleb House agricultural standpoint of producing biochar for sale to the Bear Nation. That's a lot of biochar, Bear
so
Nation.
many words.
Yeah, that's a
Do you
lot of
want
words.
to buy biochar?
Do you guys want biochar? Is that something you're interested
Homemade
in?
in Oklahoma.
Homemade. Yeah.
Bagged in, I don't know, are we mailing that? How does that
I guess
work?
it'd probably be freight. Canadian prepper watches Bear living off grid. He actually does. He's subscribed to my channel for a while, a couple years ago. I'd do a video, and then 24 hours later, one of his videos would come out, and it was like the exact same, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Imitation, flattery, something.
I don't watch his stuff. Ultimate Cheeseburger said, yes, biochar. Fundraiser for KH, I'd buy some. Shop stuff's in. What is that? It's basically like clean charcoal that like all the nasty gases have burned off of, and then you use it for soil building. From what material? From all of the trees that we have to clear at Caleb House. I've been
you basically burn wood intentionally with minimal oxygen so that it doesn't ash, and then the resulting charcoal that you get that doesn't have the ash, you rinse really thoroughly. You basically fill it up with water, and then you inoculate it with compost or compost tea. And what the little charcoals end up doing is becoming little apartment complexes for microorganisms. They hold water in your soil. They create really good moisture retention, which is important if you live in a drought-prone area. But they also hold on to the nutrition in your soil. Thank you. Living Free in Tennessee conference like 3 weeks ago.
That's a really great summary of biochar. Honey Badger said, I don't think Bear should be playing out any of the whiteboard plans in the background.
Let's read the first line.
Trauma is a sport you play naked. I heard that on a Wrangler Star live stream, and I liked it, so I wrote it down. Because it gets to the E in the March E algorithm: expose, evaluate, elevate, evacuate. So trauma is a sport you play naked. If you've ever been to class, I tell people all the time,
trauma naked.
I'm a huge fan of modesty until I'm in a trauma situation, in which case cut all my clothes off of me and we can laugh about all the pounds I need to lose once I survive. So but yeah, so Caleb, there's interest. Somebody said I'll take a pallet of it. 556. Somebody, where was that? Chat goes by so fast.
I know. There seems like there's a lot of interest.
Yeah, there's interest in biochar. Okay, cool. I've been cutting trees at Caleb House and clearing land at Caleb House longer than you've been here.
At least a year longer than I've been here, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So it's a thing.
We have lots of piles that need to go away.
Yep. We have lots. Let's see. Earlier this month, the world watched as two nuclear-armed nations, India and Pakistan, engaged in their most intense military confrontation since 1971. Somebody on Patreon asked a question like, I would love an explainer on what you would do if India-Pakistan went hot.
What would you do?
Well, I kind of shot a video on that from Kansas.
Yeah, it was a really good breakdown. It was a little jarring because I came into the middle of it and didn't read the title. I was like, what happened? Wait, what?
Quick, check the news feed. Yeah. Are we getting nuked right now?
You wouldn't be live if we were nuked.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
If it was real, I wouldn't be live.
That was the 3-second brain switch up. Oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah. I'd be on a radio, probably.
If that. You'd be scooting home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I was home, what would I do if U.S. soil was nuked? I did a live stream on that a couple of days ago. Go look that up.
But what if the U.S. was not involved and it was just India and Pakistan? Would you change anything about your life?
That would probably be go home, close gate protocol.
Sure.
Talk to my peeps.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, there's nuclear weapons falling again. This is weird. I don't think we have any mutual aid agreements with either of those countries. However, we probably do with somebody that has some other nation, like one of these dumb European nations that are like make-believe fiefdoms, the remnants of kingdoms from 1,000 years ago. Article 5, who cares? Who cares? And here's my thing, right? If you're the biggest kid on the playground, I'm not saying you should be a bully, but you are the biggest kid on the playground. In fact, like when I was little, to the extent I was ever little, when I was younger.
He was never little.
I was never little. My crew at school on the playground.
Yes, Matthew.
Yeah, she's married. Not to me, though.
No,
my wife is over there. We're just friends.
Mm-hmm.
We do life together.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
My crew on the playground, was all the weird kids that didn't have anybody else to hang out with. Like the overweight band girl and the one kid from the football team that nobody else liked. Literally, my best friend at school was a little tiny Jewish kid named Yuri Mandelbaum. Yuri, if you're out there, look me up, bro. Hopefully you've grown up since then. Your sister was Esther, your brother was Chaim. Yeah, for real. And
Seems reasonable.
so people would pick on all these other kids, and I would be engaged in these incredible games of wall ball, throwing the blue racquetball against the brick wall.
Yeah.
Somebody would pick on one of my homies, so we'd have a little timeout on wall ball, and I would walk over to that portion of the playground and just beat the shit out of somebody that had the audacity to pick on one of my weird friends, and then go back to wall ball. And so I didn't start any fights, but I pretty much every day was finishing a fight. Pretty much every day. And that, I don't know, that kind of got ingrained into me. Like, don't pick on the weird kids. They're people too. They need somebody to protect them. And so if you're the biggest kid on the playground, lucky man. Matthew, keep it in your pants, all right?
Someone else already whacked that.
All right, good job. If you're the biggest kid on the playground and you have a bunch of strange friends, good. Use the strength and power that the Father gave you for righteousness. So the United States, whether we like it or not, is it the beast system? Is it Mystery Babylon? Is it? Maybe. But we are the biggest kid on the playground. Now, there's a couple other big kids. You know, there is China, there is Russia. You know, there are some other big kids. The EU is a bunch of little tiny kids that have formed a coalition. Maybe if there's 30 of us, we could take on one big kid. Maybe it's kind of that 100 men versus one gorilla thing. Yeah, it's that.
The rampant gorilla argument.
Who do you think would win, 100 men versus one gorilla?
100 men.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think 20 of our men versus one gorilla.
Less. You're all heavily armed.
That's true. But I mean, even if we're just barehanded.
Yeah.
Like, I mean.
You pick your giants, right?
100%.
Dud. Kyle.
Yep.
Jason, actually, because
Yep.
he's fast.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Jason would have 2 arms ripped off of a gorilla like that
so
fast.
Yep.
And Dudley would be like, it's amazing. He's bleeding out.
Right.
Yeah.
Striker. We'd pull Striker in.
Yeah,
for
we'd
that,
bring
just for
Striker in.
kicks.
Yep. Just for motivation,
Yeah.
if nothing
and Striker's dog, because she's adorable.
else. AVT?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
He'd have fun. Actually, he'd just talk to the gorilla, and the gorilla would quit.
Yeah, see, you have the wrong cognitive filters in your prefrontal cortex,
Yeah.
gorilla. Yeah. You have to ask
Look at
yourself,
these lights as they go back and
is
forth.
this rational? How is this belief serving you? What proof do you have, gorilla? Bear can fix them. So anyway, the EU is kind of like that, right? Like there's a bunch of little tiny kids on the playground, and they're like, if we all get together, we might be able to take one big kid. But America is the biggest kid on the playground, and we've been the biggest kid on the playground for a hot minute. Are there other people that are trying to knock us off the tire swing? Yes, there are. Should we preemptively have fights with the other big kids on the playground? I don't think so. Unless I get some intel that one of the other big kids on the playground is actively trying to knock me off the tire swing, in which case, sure, man. Yep. And that's part of why the Bible differentiates between killing and murder, right? Because there is such a thing as righteous killing for the preservation of life. If I find out you're trying to kill me and everyone that I love, and I don't do something about it before you get that opportunity, I'm a coward, right? And so there's something to preemptive preservation of life, but you got to be really careful with that. And that's why there's always prayer involved biblically. There's always prayer involved because what you don't want to do is use false justification to go take preemptive action for the preservation of life, and it's actually premeditated murder. That's a whole different biblical conversation. Anyway, India, Pakistan. The conflict, dubbed Operation Sindoor by India, began on May 7th when Indian forces launched strikes deep into Pakistani territory, targeting what they described as terrorist infrastructure. Military action came in response to an April 22nd attack where Islamic militants killed 26 civilians. Did you see that footage of the guy on the zip line?
Mm-mm.
So it's in the Kashmir region, which is like kind of like a vacation spot for them. So there's a dude going down a zip line. He's got a selfie stick out, and he's just down the zip line. While underneath him, there's people with AKs just shooting random people. And dude was oblivious.
Situational awareness, y'all.
Gay lizard people, White Girl Wednesday. Dawn's here.
Dawn's also a white girl.
Which one are you? Are you White Girl Wednesday or are you gay lizard people? You haven't decided yet?
Someone get the
This
lady
is
a coffee.
this is Oklahoma, not California. You can't decide.
More coffee is indicated.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with white girl.
Okay.
Okay. It has been appointed unto you.
Yes.
Subsequent exchange of fire, missile strikes, drone attacks, aerial combat, conflict erupted between two nations. Pakistan claimed to have downed several Indian fighter jets, including at least one advanced Rafale using a Chinese-supplied J-10 aircraft. Have you seen that? Why are females females, but tamales are tamales?
I think you overestimate the amount of time that I spend looking at any of this.
I don't try to look at
I'm
any of
here
this.
decoratively.
It just keeps finding me.
I know.
But there's apparently a grassroots movement for females to be called famales now. And I think I support
actually,
it.
I'm okay with that
Yeah.
because I'm at least 20% Mexican food. Like, at least.
By volume?
I'm pretty sure that Yellow Mexico is still in business because of me.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're amazing.
All right. So India shot down, or Pakistan shot down several Indian fighter jets.
Allegedly.
Now they have a full ceasefire, according to Donald Trump. And allegedly.
Just keep saying
Oh my! It changes by the day, right? Like Israel, they're our greatest ally. We love them. So beautiful.
So beautiful.
We're gonna make Gaza Strip like
a vacation center.
It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be like the Jersey Shore of the Middle East.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I hate Bibi. He's such a scumbag. Never liked the guy. Total coward.
Yeah. Other people said. I would never say. Well, other people said.
Many people have said total scumbag. Are you familiar with the multiverse theory?
Yes, very.
Are we just bouncing back and forth through different timelines?
High probability.
Or is this reality?
Both options are funny. If you just let your brain wander through them, because if you're like, we're ricocheting through different realities, that's entertaining in the fact that we've screwed up so badly that we need to ricochet between realities. If this is actually reality, amusing because, oh my gosh, this is actually reality.
Is that why everybody's so exhausted? It's bouncing through the multiverse?
Yeah, but when you're 8, you're not exhausted.
Save you from what?
Get a snack.
You just have a snack.
I've already had
Go pack put Band-Aids into bags. We're big on child labor here.
Yeah, pet kids. Huh?
Go
You don't
put
know
Band-Aids into
You don't know
bags.
how to count Band-Aids? Go.
You can
Child
do it.
labor. Or you could draw the next ad for a bear fac for Instagram. Help Lauren out.
Yeah.
Draw a picture of a bear fac and make
Yep.
it into an ad.
That's a good
Good
idea.
marketing.
That's a good idea. I like that.
We'll post it.
Oh, look, another
Sorry,
white
Lauren.
girl. I know there's white girls
We
everywhere
keep
around
them
here.
everywhere. Diversity in marketing is not really a thing.
I think we need to get Miss Lovely Dudley on here.
We
But
have to PC that title though. She'd be
no,
all
we're
for
gonna
it.
keep it White Girl Wednesday, but she has to wear a scrunchie and a side pony.
Yes.
That's the rules.
Yes.
That's the rules.
Is she here? I don't think she's here this morning.
Let's see. Tensions aren't just increasing in Asia, but also into Eastern Europe as well. In a separate development, Polish officials ordered the closure of Russia's consulate in Krakow on Monday following an investigation that implicated Moscow in a 2024 arson attack that destroyed a Warsaw shopping center with approximately 1,400 stores. Sounds like a mall.
That's a
It's a
really
lot
big
of
mall.
stores.
That's like Mall of America big.
Yeah, it's huge. Isn't that like from your neck of the woods?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mall of America.
Yeah.
Polish Foreign Minister Radek Sikorski announced, quote, this quote, that's a Polish
Accurate.
quote. This was a huge fire of a shopping mall in Warsaw in which, just by sheer luck, nobody was hurt. This is completely unacceptable, end quote. Prime Minister Donald Tusk was even more direct, stating, quote, we now know for sure that the Great Fire of Mariawilska Shopping Center in Warsaw was caused by arson ordered by Russian special services. Do we now know that for sure, or is that on a different timeline, different part of the multiverse? The investigate, and I'm no Russian apologist. It's just they always roll these things out at the appropriate time politically.
Also, total war strategy. That's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fixing anything.
Well, and it also illustrates there's a lot of people who still to this day think that warfare is guns and tanks and bombs and planes and all the stuff that France is unable to participate in right now because they don't have a land war military.
And it hasn't been for a long time.
No. There are myriad things that are below the threshold of open warfare, gray zone activity, like setting fire to a shopping mall with 1,400 stores in it, which, who goes there? Is that a military target or a civilian target? It's a civilian target. And so there's a bunch of civilians walking around completely oblivious. They got to pick up their Starbies on the way to Target. And they're like, everything's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's like, it's actually not fine. It's not chaos actual. There are not, Chinese paratroopers who are, landing in the hayfields around this office right now. It's not that. Nobody's nuking us. But we've had gray zone conflict and asymmetric conflict for the last 20 plus years as a nation.
A big part of that is technological and mental warfare, like the programming of people and the disintegration of family and society and strategic placement of media to demoralize or to divide.
Have you seen the dead internet theory? Nope.
I'm full of helpful stuff today, aren't I?
No, you're good. It's not you. I am unfortunately way too aware of way too many things that may or may not be beneficial to my psyche.
Dead internet. Hit me with it.
Dead internet theory. There's actually a fair bit of study that's been done on this. Somewhere around 60% of engagements on the internet are automated engagements.
Our bot farms.
Are bots. They're not actual people. And so if you think about, you have a better than average chance if you get into an argument with somebody in the comments about something, that's not actually a person. That's a robot. And
that's why I don't like you in the comments.
If you remember when Elon bought Twitter, which is now X, I think Jack Dorsey was asking $400 billion or some absurd,
it was astronomical,
huge number. And Elon was like, is there an AI bot? Yep, you caught me. You caught me.
He moves when you poke him.
I just have that really good
outer shell.
I come out of the same factory as Fleshlight, so it's just
we plug him in and charge him every night.
Gross. Dead internet theory. Elon.
Bots 60%. Twitter's actually not worth what it's worth because there's not actually that many users.
When Elon did the discovery on Twitter to justify the valuation, what he found was, I want to say it was somewhere in the 80th percentile of Twitter accounts were not actually people. And so that drove the price down from 400 billion to 80 billion or something like that.
Yeah, substantial.
And that's just Twitter. And so and all that to say, gray zone activity, the shaping and profiling of thought and speech, there are actual robots algorithmically, and then also, devices. Have you ever seen, there's lots of footage of bot farms that have thousands of cell phones up, all plugged in.
And one person is just monitoring.
Yep. Just letting it run. And so they do that for engagement farming. That's how you can buy. Most people don't know this. You can buy 10,000 Instagram followers like that.
It's
You
not
can-
horribly expensive either.
It's not. You can buy 100,000 YouTube subs like that. You can buy all these things and you can prop up the size of a channel algorithmically. It's engagement farming. And so let's say I buy 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, or 1 million, happens all the time. There's channels you watch or have watched that have done this. And I release a piece of content. Well, then all the bots go engage with the content. So now the algorithm, which is just a different, bigger robot, goes, oh, look at all this engagement. I should pump this up in the algorithm and serve it to other people, 60% of which are going to be robots anyway. They're not real people. But we're all, to some extent, letting this beast system made up of robots and artificial intelligence shape the way we think and feel and speak, and as if it's real. And it's not real. It's make-believe. In Internet 1.0, it used to be pretty real. Internet 2.0, which is kind of like the .com era and direct-to-consumer e-commerce, it started to get a little funky. And now in Internet 3.0, what's up, Sage of the Fire? Lizards are trans. Hey, I know. Maybe the lizards you're hanging out with. Is that why there's so many weirdos in Florida?
No comment.
You're always hearing like the Florida man stories.
Mhm.
Like Florida man beats 14-foot gator to death with a 3-iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the gators are also on meth there. So they actually.
The snapping turtle that ran away it's gonna make robots.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, that's where it ran to. It ran back to its robot lair.
But
Uh-huh.
it ran into the pond.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a robot lair
under your
underneath the pond. Yeah. That's why the ducks ran away. They were like, we can't stay here. There's robot snapping turtles.
I thought you killed them.
No, the ducks ran away. I killed our first batch of ducks
Yeah.
so that we could eat them. But they weren't good.
There
Very
was
not
an
tasty.
actual press release in Florida from the police force in some county, I don't remember which one, asking drug dealers to please quit flushing their drug supplies when they were raided because the alligators were becoming meth addicts from the bleed off from the groundwater, and it was causing alligator containment issues because they were meth heads. It was basically a press release of, if you're going to destroy your drug supply, please do it some other way than your toilet. And that sums up Florida.
This is normal.
Yeah,
This is just the
normal.
world we live. This is the multiverse we've picked today.
Yep.
Let's see. The investigation revealed that Ukrainian citizens acting on behalf of Russia were responsible for both the Warsaw fire and a 9 May 2024 arson attack on an IKEA store. That's a military target. In Vilnius, Lithuania, these incidents have demonstrated Russia's continued use of hybrid warfare tactics across Europe, with arson attacks being a common tool in their arsenal. Russian officials have denied any wrongdoing, of course, with ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova claiming Warsaw is continuing to deliberately destroy relations and acting against the interest of its citizens. Sure. Sure. Roran!
Roman,
Roran!
Roman,
Roran!
Roman,
Roran!
Roman, save us.
What would happen to meth gator meat? Well, you're not supposed to eat gators
Gators
anyway.
are unclean.
Comma, back
They're
before
uncleaner.
I knew that, I used to go to this little place on White Lake, New York called Lucy's Diner that had fried gator.
What?
No, you can both stay. You're both white girls.
Oh, okay.
I'll bounce because I'm not a white girl.
You are
But
right.
we used to get fried gator by the pound and grilled swing tops by the case every summer on White Lake. And
Tall as
The
you
size
guys.
difference when I stand up
I'm-
is uncomfortable.
I'm as tall as you guys are.
She's
As
very
I.
little.
so little.
Hi, everybody. Look, I'll sit tall.
Okay,
I'm
good.
I'm actually
I'll
taller than
slouch.
Melissa. I look
Liz is
like
pretty tall. You're pretty not.
I know. I'm assuming I'm here to talk about refuge.
That's
That
a
would
good
be
assumption.
ideal.
I'm assuming.
That's a
So
good
What's on sale? What's
Okay.
happening in May?
So there's so many things. I'm going to try and remember all of them.
Don't confuse the
I'm not gonna
customer.
confuse
Just give
you.
them one thing. One kid,
There
one
is
training.
one spot left for train the trainer. I actually thought we had less seats than we did. We sold 28 of them, which was crazy.
Yep.
We're really excited about that. So if you've been wanting to take our class and want to go on to teach other people, this is your shot. We don't have a date for the next time we'll do this yet. So grab it while you can.
It is in 4 days.
It is in 4 days. So make your plans now.
And I'm freaking stoked.
Yeah. I've never seen TJ so excited about a class except for maybe wilderness or not wilderness. Sorry.
Oh no, you said
Not,
that.
no,
She didn't
I
say
said
anything.
nothing
She didn't say anything.
except for maybe night
The
responder.
night responder.
Night
last
responder, you're
September.
excited about that, I think.
I get excited
been a
about
while.
all classes, but these are going to be bangers.
Yeah. It's going to be really exciting. I said nothing about wilderness. You never
No.
heard that out of my mouth.
Stop saying it.
Sorry.
Nothing, Mike.
Stop
Dang it.
saying wilderness.
Wilderness. Okay.
Train the trainer. 4 days.
Train the
Be
trainer.
here.
It's
One
in 4
spot.
days.
Focus.
I'm sorry. I was just like,
Don't shoot at Laura.
I have to
Miss
leave now. Anyways, the other thing is if you haven't signed up for our newsletters, we've been dropping banger deals on there that you can't get on the website. We don't talk about it on the website. You can't find it on socials. It's literally only in the newsletter. So make sure you sign up. If you go to the website, refugemedical.com, and scroll down, there's a place that says stay in touch. So be on the lookout for that. There might be one dropping tonight. So if you're not signed up, you should probably sign up. Let's see. What is up, Sky? We will see you in 2 days. And then the BOGO event is still going on. Buy one kit, get one 30% off. That's a
And
huge
buckets.
savings. And buckets. Yes, buckets are on sale
Well, that
too.
applies to buckets too.
It does apply to buckets. So
Item
Yeah.
of equal or lesser value.
that's right.
And now I'm bankrupt.
Double surgical buckets, y'all.
Oof.
Or
Do the
surgical
thing.
and a wound care.
Mm.
You
Fix the
can
problem, take care of the
take
fixed
care of the
problem.
problem.
I
Yeah.
met a guy in Kansas at Midwestern Preparedness Project
Mhm.
that his wife had bought. So they've had like a bunch of kids, all home birth, doula, the whole nine. And his wife had this conviction. She's like, there's going to be people that are going to be having babies in chaos here.
Yeah.
And we're actually pretty good at having babies off grid with no doctors. So they bought a half a dozen birth buckets and a half a dozen postpartum buckets
Awesome.
just to have in their preps
That's amazing.
to like be the subject matter expert for like off grid chaotic
Mhm.
delivering babies. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are in a position to make people, you should probably just have one.
It's
Just because.
yeah. Yep.
Fat Mom said, I'm already confused. Crap. I did not do a
Okay.
good job.
Train the
Um,
trainer.
That one.
4 days.
Sign up for
One
it.
spot.
Do it
Move your feet.
before it's gone.
BOGO. Buy one, get one 30% off. When does that end? Deadline. We
you
need
know
a
what?
deadline that.
I'm not even gonna say when it
Timelines are
ends.
important.
It could end tomorrow. So you don't know. Keep you on your toes.
Is that just because we don't know?
We're going to decide after the
Just
live
like-
stream.
Meeting Harmony in 5 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so that's what I've got for you. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter and check out our Medic Minutes. We have a new series starting on our YouTube channel. Mike and Heath are doing just bite-sized learning segments on things that you guys have asked for, and they're really enjoying it. So are we. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Good job, Rowan.
I'm coming back.
Good
I'm
job,
coming back.
Rowan.
Hey, listen, tell them KH stuff.
Tell them about KH stuff.
Thank you, Ryan.
Did you play that?
What? Yeah.
Caleb House stuff.
Yeah.
Caleb House construction is ongoing, which is fantastic. It is ongoing much faster recently, because it has stopped raining every 5 minutes, which has been really helpful because then we're working on dirt, not mud. Also because we had a super incredible team that came last week with a bunch of guys that go get it.
It's fine.
That
It's fine. Everything's
fine. Came to donate their time and their expertise and their tool set.
Francesco Magisano, excited for virtual responder. I'll watch it with my 2 roommates. That's
Sweet.
recommended
You
because
should
you're
do
blind, homie. But we love you anyway. Achilles International is part of the organization,
Uh-huh.
is the organization that he's part of. for everybody out there who's like, I want to come to class, but I just don't know if I can do it.
You can do it.
Francesco is legally blind, and he came to class and did awesome. Best tourniquet application of the essential responder was the blind guy who's got more grit and determination than most people who are walking around fully capable with the 5 senses that the Father gave him. And he and his buddy flew in from New York to come to class for 2 days, had a blast, and we loved it because it's like we get to teach a guy that is fully legally blind. And so it adds a whole nother element from the instructor standpoint of like, how do I make sure that he understands the deliverables here, right? And it was awesome, absolutely awesome. So Francesco, we love you. We had such a good time making jokes at your expense while you were here. And you definitely legally blind, not illegally blind. That's awesome. It was a blast. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did. So because I saw Francesco in the chat, he's awesome. So, but let's be honest, bro, you're not watching it with your homies. It's okay, but you're more than welcome to listen to it because we love you.
Oh.
Yeah, he also does triathlons.
Yeah, you have no excuses.
Real slacker, this guy.
Nobody has excuses.
Out there advocating and like traveling the whole country. Is bringing his personal support human with him. It's just he's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. And when I got home that night at dinner, I was telling my family, I was like, I don't ever want to hear any excuses from any of you about anything because I just got to train with one of the most amazing humans on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And if he can do it, you can do it. So don't be slacking around here. Please continue.
No, the roommates are also blind.
Sweet. I love it.
Please come back to Refuge so I can meet you in real life.
I love it.
Derailed. Brain rebooting.
Good morning.
We're doing things at Caleb House. We're making buildings happen. We had an incredible team of people come in last week to volunteer with a lot of skill sets that we needed. They brought tools as well, which was very helpful. You know who you are, and half of you watch this. Thank you for coming, for serving, for having a good attitude the entire week when it was hot and when it was raining, and for doing way more than we even had set on the goal sheet for the week. And we will see you again soon. Mm-hmm. As far as things that we need moving forward, I actually am looking for someone who wants to volunteer for a couple hours remotely. Need someone who's like moderately decent at graphic design and or really good at Canva. This is not a super professional thing. I just need help with a couple documents because I don't have time. So I'm trying to do better at delegating tasks and communicating how we can make things run smoother, how we can spin things up to be effective. And so if that is you and you have some free hours and a Canva Pro subscription and you want to help me out, email me at volunteers@calebhouse.org. The other thing that I am currently very specifically looking for is someone who owns or has the right to borrow a gutter machine or a rolling form machine to make seamless gutters. If you are free in September to come and volunteer with your machine, I will buy all of your consumables, but we would really like to do seamless gutters on multiple buildings and not buy that machine ideally because it's not really a good strategic investment for us to purchase that right now. So if you have one and you want to come hang out, email me, volunteers@calebhouse.org. And as always, thank you for your support and your prayers and your willingness to be a part of this because none of this happens without you. It's always fun to have the little God stories and the big God stories, but just on Monday, my other lead on site has tried to glue down this piece of flooring 3 different times with 3 different materials. And he's like, I really need grip right. We need this specific epoxy to put this down. Can you please order this? Because I am the orderer. I buy all of the things. He's like, you need to get me this thing. Get it here. I was like, hey, we just got a bucket of random tubes of random materials donated. How about you just go look in the bucket? He walks down the stairs and there's 3 tubes in the bucket of exactly what he needs. And he's like, hey, we have it in the bucket. And my response is just, Dad's cool like that.
Yeah.
Like every time we need the weird little thing that would derail the whole project, if I had to drive, X number of amount to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, the thing is in the box or in the bucket or on the truck that shows up. And sometimes it's just grip right. And sometimes it's 3 AC compressors. And it just depends on what we need in the moment.
What does that little piece of paper say right there?
Do what you can with what you have. Nothing more is needed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a good thing to remember when it feels like we're behind, because there are days when I feel like we're behind and we're not hitting our metrics. And the reality is every time that we've been behind according to my standards, we've actually been in alignment with his timeline. And he has delayed us in order to teach us. He has delayed us because we didn't know one of these legal things that we needed to know in order to shift a building. He's delayed us because we needed to meet these people at this time and they weren't ready before that. He's delayed us because the right person needed to be in the right seat on the right bus. Because so often we try to fit all of our people into the bus and put them in the right spot so that we're being strategic and we're building the right way, and we neglect to look at the license plate and realize we're on the wrong bus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am learning to lean into the delays and just ask him why, instead of being frustrated that it feels like we're behind. And I think a huge part of the behind that I felt in Q1 was because he was lining us up for some of the relationships we've developed in the last week.
I think it's important to point out too, there's no map sheet for this. There's literally no standard on this is how you build a restoration facility for juvenile human trafficking survivors.
Yep.
That doesn't exist. And so part of what we're building in the process of building the physical facility of Caleb House are the SOPs for what that physical facility needs and the specifications for that physical facility, to then have that submitted at a state and then federal level so that what we do becomes the standard. Because there is no standard. And there is no standard, but there are 3 different federal agencies that have jurisdiction over this. And so that's super fun. It's hard enough when you have one federal agency, because if you can just compel them to do their job, you might get something done.
Yeah.
When you have 3 different agencies that are all, every single person with federal credentials right now, that's got a federal commission, they're all involved with the border right now. And that's been super frustrating, because there are cases that we're working right now. It's like, I need my feds. Come on, where are my good feds at? And they're like, hey man, out of office indefinitely, we're down at the border.
Yep.
I'm like, awesome. Can we please do bad stuff to bad people? And they're like, 100%, we're in, right now we're down at the border.
Yep.
And so imagine you have 3 different federal agencies that all get to kick the can to each other, going, I don't know, talk to them. I don't know, talk to them. I don't know, talk to them. Guys, this is a circular reference. If I put this into Microsoft Excel, I'd get an error, right? And so we are not just building the buildings, we're building the SOPs and the specifications for what aftercare looks like in the United States of America while we're doing this. And we're both doers, right? I like being around competent people that have a builder's mindset, that take ownership of their work. And when you're a doer and you're not doing as much as you think you should be doing or you're capable of doing, it can be frustrating sometimes, even if that hiccup is like a half an hour. It's like, oh my gosh, we're behind. It's like, you don't think Dad has an extra half an hour? Like, I think Dad has an extra half an hour.
What's the word for trust?
Bitachon.
Yeah.
complete and utter reliance.
Yeah,
On
it's
the
not
creator.
about us anyway.
Red Flyer Media says, Kiri and I have you covered on graphics. And
Okay.
Kentucky Sustainable Living said, what's up, TJ? What's up, Jason?
So, okay, so
By the way, the only training I'm doing on the road this year,
Is
only
at
public
Kentucky.
training that I'm doing on the road this year is at Kentucky Sustainable Living. So go to KentuckySustainableLiving.com. I know it's a long URL. Use Google. You'll find it. Google's evil. Use Brave. Use DuckDuckGo. I don't care. Use your search engine of choice. Find Kentucky Sustainable Living. There is a class that Refuge is performing. It's at an additional cost, but that additional cost is like 60% off what it would normally be because we love Jason. And so if you're going to be anywhere near Kentucky Sustainable Living, I'll be there. Refuge crew will be there. We'll be teaching there. Sign up.
The graphic design position is closed. It's been covered.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Praise the Father.
If you have a gutter machine, I still need you.
I guess last thing is Grindstone is fundraising for a shower trailer.
Yes.
So
shower and bathrooms, right?
Shower and bathroom. Yep. So it's a thing. Hygiene's a thing.
Yeah.
So if that's something that moves you, if the Spirit moves you on any of this stuff, feel free to go to grindstoneministries.com or calebhouse.org, Caleb with a K, calebhouse.org. Now, Miss Lovely Dudley's in the chat dropping links, and all I can think about her is a side pony with a scrunchie on. It's just hysterical. We got to get her on White Girl Wednesday.
Yeah.
We just have to.
You got signed up for White Girl Wednesday. Surprise. I'm not sure if you were here earlier.
Yep. And let's see. Links to everything's in the description. Patreon. Today's Wednesday, right?
Today is Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
She volunteers.
Awesome. Awesome.
You're up next week. I'm gone.
I believe we're doing Patreon live stream tonight, not tomorrow, because I have a thing that I've got to do tomorrow evening. And I need to atone for last week's Patreon live stream because I was so smoked after Kansas last week.
That's
I was
so
like,
much people.
brain mush.
Yeah.
I was out of words.
That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. I was out of words. It was a lot. It was good, but it was a lot. So that's the show for today. We appreciate y'all very much. Thanks for being a part of the Bear Nation. If you enjoyed this conversation, subscribe, share, comment, ring the little bell icon, all those things. And we'll see you when we see you. We have a homeschooling class coming in to do a tour of the facility now-ish. And so we're going to be otherwise engaged. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being a part of the Bear Nation, and we'll see you when we see you. Shalom. I hit the wrong button. I got to hit this button. That's the button. That
button. Bye.
The best production.